Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Sydney Okafor. A bill that will mandate social media platform data controllers and data processors operating in Nigeria to set up physical offices in the country has successfully passed its first reading in the Senate. Lawmaker representing Delta North Senatorial District of Delta State, Ned Nwoko, who sponsored the bill, disclosed to newsmen that proposed legislation also aims to enhance swift resolution of complaints and foster stakeholder confidence. The bill aims to alter the Nigerian Data Protection Act 2023 to mandate the establishment of physical offices within the territorial boundaries of the Federal Republic of Nigeria by social media platform and for a related matters. Take a listen to part of what the lawmaker said.
They are just operating in our space without any control or regulation. And we are losing. Nigerians are losing. I remember many years ago in UK, in Ireland, in France, the parliamentarians made laws that made Facebook and other platforms to establish offices in their countries. And the importance of this cannot be overemphasized. One, it will create jobs. When they have an office here in Nigeria, whether it's in Lagos or Abuja, it will create a number of jobs. Two, because they are operating here, they will pay taxes, so revenue will be generated. Three, it will help to transfer technology because our people will be learning. Either they are being taught here or they go to the headquarters to learn and be trained. Fourthly, it will help to deal with the difficulties in litigations. So as it is now, if there's a fake news and you are challenging them, it is difficult. It's difficult for them to tell you who the people are. It's difficult for the lawyers to be able to serve. It's difficult for the lawyers to be able to serve court processes on them outside Nigeria. And then what about criminals who are laundering money, who are moving as insurgents? You know, if we have social media presence here, the military intelligence will easily work with them to guide them as to where those people are, how many they are, how they are moving. But all this is missing in Nigeria currently because we have no control over people who are doing businesses in Nigeria.
Nwoko said he proposed in the amendment bill that Section 5 of the Principal NDPC Act 2023 be altered by the addition of a new Article P and that Section 65 of the Principal Acts be altered by the addition of new terms and their interpretations. According to lawmaker, the bill seeks to enhance compliance with global data protection standards and boost Nigeria's economic and security landscape. For context, the plan to regulate social media dates as far back as 2019 with the introduction of the Protection from Internet, Falsehood and Manipulations Bill 2019, also known as the Anti-Social Media Bill at the National Assembly. However, public sentiment against anti-social media bill and the wider issue of social media regulation in Nigeria has remained a major hurdle for the federal government to scale prior to regulating social media platforms in the country as envisaged. The call to regulate social media has received backlash from Nigerians across political divides. Let's get a legal perspective on the issue. I am now joined by Douglas Ubankwa, a legal practitioner based in Benin City. It's nice to have you on the program once again, sir. What are your thoughts on the push to regulate social media in Nigeria? Because such calls have been on for quite some time now, and government institutions are championing the cause based on what they claim abuse of the platform. Now, if you look at this in this way, now, according to this authority, social media has the propensity to ignite an already polarized country like Nigeria. If not quickly checkmated now, how possible is this going to help?
It's very, very important for Nigerians to situate the scenario we find ourselves. As you know, social media is the new media, and Nigerians apparently have not been able to understand that the use of social media is not a license for you to now begin to bring out also unsubstantiated facts about people, insult people, or perhaps even go as far as bullying people online or even stalking them. It's just that the National Assembly just amended the section of the law that actually talks about cyber stalking, to qualify it to be a kind of post that would bring about breakdown of law and order, or that lead to a disruption of public peace. However, there are other aspects of our laws that deals with criminal defamation. Whether you like it or not, those laws still exist in some states, I think apart from 2 states in Nigeria. And if those laws exist and someone feels aggrieved, it is foolhardy for my colleagues to come and condemn, who may want to condemn the manner of arrest of persons. If you did, for example, a social media post in Lagos, and I saw it in Ekiti, as a matter of fact, if I saw it anywhere in Nigeria, the law that concerns the jurisdiction is that the whole of Nigeria is a jurisdictional threshold when it comes to the use of social media or when you commit cyber crime. That is why when it comes to cyber crime, you can actually charge anywhere in Nigeria, because where it is seen to have been committed, or from you that is the culprit, to the person that is the victim, we do not know where the victim was at a particular time. We do not know where the culprit was at this particular time. I'm just saying that Nigerians should be very, very careful. Don't let anybody deceive you that you can say anything online and get away with it. It is true that there is freedom of speech in Nigeria. It is, however, true that your freedom of speech is not a license to talk nonsense. Aside the civil liability of defamation of character or libel, as the case may be, there are also criminal liability when it comes to the use of social media. So do not go online to make unsubstantiated claims about people in a way that will make them to be viewed with odium and opprobrium, that will make people treat them with disdain. They have a right to as well question your action. Invitation to the police is not a conviction. So if you do not want to go to the police, or you don't want to go to any other agency of government, my advice to you is that you be very careful. I have seen all manners of posts on the social media, even by the operators of media platforms. And I really do think, I need to say this, some people may not like it, but it's the truth. The same way we have the National Broadcasting Commission, we need a body to regulate groups, body organizations that run posts, logs on the social media pages, because people's names are being destroyed, and you don't want to know what it took people to build their names over the years. These people just come online within some few minutes, they want to destroy a name someone have built for years, and Nigerians are saying that the police don't have a right to intervene. I disagree. I disagree completely. Nigerians should be careful. Why I agree with the position of the NBA as it concerns the recent case, that indeed criminal defamation is illegal it's no longer a crime in Lagos because of the amendment to the Lagos State Criminal Law 2011. We should also realize that the defamation that is being alleged is being alleged to have taken place online. Because all television stations now have YouTube channels. So the scope, when you are talking on television, the scope of what you are dealing with is no longer television, terrestrial television, or pay TV. You are dealing with a huge scope that has a worldwide audience. This interview, as I'm having it now, because you have social media platforms, people are watching it from all over the world. We have to be very careful the way we use words, the way we call people out. I'm not saying if you are calling a person out, be sure you have evidence of what you are saying. I cannot say that Mr. A, for example, is gay. Like, look at the story of the young man in whether it was in Abuja or Lagos who called a musician out. You don't just say what you like. Just come on air and say what you like about a musician that has built a reputation over the years. This is a musician that is an international icon. You said because he visited the PDD then, he may have. No, you don't do that. And now they arrested you. You are going online, pay people to say they did not, they pay police to arrest you. They did not pay police to arrest you. Police is doing their job. If you know you don't want to go to police, you have to be careful what you see online. That's essentially the scenario, my dear brother.
Among the arguments by Nigerians, the major challenge is that of the infringement of citizens' right to free speech. The social media regulation in Nigeria mean that freedom of expression will be a thing of the past, considering it's a fundamental right which democratic regime, let's say the world over, seeks to uphold, just like we just want to imitate other countries.
Thank you very much for that question. I want to say vividly or succinctly that your freedom of speech is actually not absolute. It is contingent on the rights of other people. You do not have freedom of speech to bully a person to go and commit suicide or to cause problem in a person's marriage to the extent that the wife will leave him when you make unsubstantiated statements. I will refer you to section 39(1) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended by the Fifth Alteration, which covers this subject. I read section 39(1). Every person shall be entitled to freedom of expression, including freedom to hold opinions and to receive and impact ideas and information without interference. That's 39(1). 39(2) says, without prejudice to the generality of section 1 of this section, everybody shall be entitled to own, to own, establish, and operate any medium for the dissemination of information, ideas, and opinion. In answer, provided that no person other than the government or the federation of the state or any other person or body authorized by the president or fulfillment of condition laid down by the National Act of National Television shall own, establish, or operate a television or wireless broadcasting station for any purpose or whatsoever. He now said, nothing in this section shall invalidate any law that is reasonably justified in a democratic society. So you would see that it says in section 39(3), nothing in this section shall invalidate any law that is reasonably justifiable in a democratic society. That is to say, everything I just read out is subject to existing laws or subsequent laws made either before or after the Constitution came to fruition, respectively. And there are several laws. We have the Criminal Code Act at the federal level. And in some states, we have the Criminal Code. Then we have the Cybercrime Prohibition Act of 2015, as amended 2024. Even this law talks about cyber threats, cyber squatting, cyber bullying, and cyber stalking. So it's important for people to understand that aside the Constitution, there are laws which are enabled by the Constitution to regulate how we function as citizens and how we relate to one another. It is also very important for Nigerians to keep to those laws. You don't just come online and you mention the name of a person who is well known, and you make unsubstantiated allegations about that person. And you think the person will fold his arms. You think you now need to go to court, fight for defamation. No, he could also do that. There is no law that says civil and criminal proceedings cannot go pari passu. That is side by side. It is very important for Nigerians to understand that it is where your right stops that the right of other Nigeria begins from.
Okay, now, I get that point now, sir. Now, another issue that has plagued the regulation of social media platform in Nigeria is the lack of a clear legal and regulatory framework for the same. We have seen countless legal suits filed against the National Broadcasting Commission challenging its authority to regulate and license social media platform in Nigeria. Whose responsibility is it to monitor the content on social media in Nigeria?
You said it all. The federal government needs to look at this, because what you see is that the National Broadcasting Commission is vacillating depending on where their interest lies. The other day, the National Broadcasting Commission brought out a notice saying that online television stations are regulated by the National Broadcasting Commission. I had a personal matter in which someone went online, two people went online, attempting to damage my name. And I wrote to the NBC, flowing from their release. The same NBC wrote back to me that they don't have jurisdiction. And I was like, what is wrong with these people? You just issued a statement a few weeks before saying that it is within your jurisdiction to regulate online television stations. And this online television station, they call the television station TMC, went online and wanted to destroy my name. And I wrote to the NBC saying, this TMC television, this is what they have done. Because the whole thing is political in nature, and the TMC guys only for some political interest. The NBC wrote back to me that they have no jurisdiction. And that is where we find ourselves in this country. So there is no clear policy guidelines, no adequate legal framework. What you see is that you are able to pull your case based on how powerful you are as a person. And that's completely unacceptable. You must have a system that appeals from the speaker to the sweeper. For someone who's in level 1 in the civil service to the permanent secretary. From the president to the parishioner. Everybody should have a right to approach the law and be treated fairly. So that is one thing that I think the federal government should do concerning this thing. The National Broadcasting Commission, as far as I'm concerned, is a huge failure. They're only interested in slamming money on broadcast station when they don't even have jurisdiction to do so in the first place. The Federal Court gave a slamming judgment against them for what they did against one of the major television stations. So the federal government should, thank God we have a Ministry of Information and Communications Technology. Is that the ministry will handle this themselves? Or they will get one of the existing agencies, like the National Information Technology Development Agency or any other one in that regard, to regulate. Because these online television stations, these online bloggers, these online skit makers, they have to be regulated. It's unfortunate because Nigerians often don't know how to handle freedom. I want to say that. When this is a democratic setting, and being a democratic setting, it's not a license for you to go like a white dog.
All right, Mr. Douglas Nwoko, please we'll quickly go on a short break, and when we return, the conversation continues. Welcome back. We have been discussing the issue of the regulation of the social media as sponsored by Ned Nwoko. And let's see how the whole bill is going to play on. And my guest is still Douglas Ugwankwa, a legal practitioner from Benin City. In your opinion, what sort of impact would social media regulation have in Nigeria?
Okay, I would say that the impact of the social media regulation, you would realize, quite frankly, that because of the hammer of the NBC, would I say, the presence of the NBC, there's usually a moderation of what you can say and what you cannot say on air. So you have a body, an ombudsman, a body that checks what we do. I think it will help in reducing the level of, reputational damage that these channels do to people's lives and people's business and then profiles. So we need a regulator. There is no doubt about that. We can't allow them to just continue to come and say whatever you like because you have data. No. We must be able to, you must be able to know that there must be responsibility apportioned to all of us, even those that are even commenting. Because sometimes it is not those that are talking that are even infracting on people's rights, or that are doing infractions, on people's rights. It is those that are commenting. And so that if you own a channel or you own a platform, you should check what people are saying about other people. The use of, innuendos or comments that tend to promote religious disharmony, tribal bigotry, and all that, they should be prevented by all means. So social media regulation leads to a moderation, of the activities in the social media. We need the moderation. We shouldn't pretend everything is fine. We don't need to keep arresting people. People need to know that this is good and this is bad. And like you rightly stated, it's important for government to come out openly and say, these are the guidelines. There must be guidelines issued.
Okay, I think I get that point now. Now, let's discuss the bill sponsored by Senator Ned Nwoko, which aims to alter the Nigerian Data Protection Act 2023 to mandate the establishment of fiscal offices in Nigeria, like that is the territorial boundaries of the Federal Republic of Nigeria by social media platforms and for related matters in the country. How tenable is this legislation in Nigerian context? With such physical offices for data controllers, data processors or operators of social media platforms will be really effective in the move to regulate social media in the country?
Absolutely. And the first thing you must realize is that most of these social media platforms make a huge sum of money huge amount of money from Nigeria every day, because Nigerians are incredibly internet savvy. We have some of the largest bloggers, users on the major platforms on social media. And there's no tax paid or payable to the Nigerian authorities. So this is also an opportunity for the Nigerian government to be able to take advantage of the huge resource that exists within the Nigerian social media space. So what it does means is that the Nigerian government would be able to use this opportunity to actually capture those social media platforms in the tax net. And so all the money they're making from Nigeria will have an opportunity to be able to take an advantage of it. It's a very good development, I would say. It's a huge leap. And it will help in showing up the, internally generated revenue, both for the federal government and the state government. Aside that, I believe, quite frankly, that having physical structures in Nigeria could also lead to the internal regulations of those social media platforms. That is to say, their staff being physically present, whether in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Kano, I don't know, anywhere, would help in ensuring better control and perhaps creating unique regulatory framework for each social media platform for their Nigerian audience. Because as you know, anything that is Nigerian usually has its own peculiarities. So sometimes people have to create their own templates for the Nigerian system. So you realize I have seen quite a lot of things happening on the social media. And I know that If it wasn't coming from Nigeria, if it was in other climes, it would never have been possible. And I want to encourage Nigerians to continue to sue and write petitions against people who make unsubstantiated claims. I'm not saying Nigerians should not make claims, but let it be something you can prove. Something you have evidence. You can't just come online and you just come and say whatever you like. I want to tell you that from my experience, people are paid to lie against people on the social media. That's what happened in that TMC case I told you about. That television was paid to lie against people, and it's completely unacceptable. You don't pay. You don't come and use your medium to destroy other people's name and fortunes, because reputation is fortune. You don't know what it took someone to build all this image over the years, and you are just there coming to just destroy it in a few minutes. You must be ready to bear the consequences. I don't feel sorry for such people. Once I have proof that what you did, you have no proof of, you should face the music.
Right, now, finally, before I let you go now, using other countries as examples, what are the legal implications of regulating social media in a country like Nigeria? We all know that we are diverse in different ways now. So how significant would this be in Nigeria?
Yeah, very well. In other parts of the world, even in democratic settings, you imagine a country like Australia has even said that by their new law, which will come into effect anytime soon. Now, if you are not up to, if you are 16 and below, you cannot get access to the social media. And they are saying this because of the level it has affected the academic performance of students. It has even affected many of them getting into depression, committing suicide and all that. In some parts of the world, if you were to make such unsubstantiated remarks, you'll be picked up. They even have, some countries who have social media police. They could knock you down online. They could even come physically for you. So, by comparative analysis, I think it's important that, if not for anything, for terrorism. You know, Nigerians will leave a lot for granted. A lot of terrorist activities are being fueled by the social media. Though they may not be public platforms, it could be on groups, private groups, and one-on-one direct messages. Those messages should be tracked. It is not possible for a terrorist action to take place without communication.
All right, legal practitioner Douglas Obankwa, is nice sharing your thoughts on the program, and thank you so much for your insights. Let's see if this bill will scale through. Nigerians are keeping glue on the lawmakers. And that's how much you have on the program. See you next time, and bye for now.